that can do it. It's
Should I keep my business background or should I change it?
I think that's fine, Vanessa.
Okay.
Whatever works for you. All right, I'm trying to get it to go live in the group, and as soon as we do and everybody else hops on, we was muted. I apologize. Okay, so I think we are live. Yeah, so we should be good. All right, so hi guys. So I am Megan. I'm one of the student mentors in the Piece of Cake Bookkeeping Academy. We have some of our other mentors on today. So we just want to share a little bit about our experience and answer any questions that y'all might have in regards to like the program and any of the things that are offered. So if y'all have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat and let us know. So I'll go first. A little bit about me. I am a single mom, so I joined the program. My daughter decided she wanted to do competition baton twirling. I was missing out on all of her after school activities and stuff because work would not allow me to be there. So I ran across Tiffany's program in 2019. I launched my business the end of June in 2019. November the 1st of 2019, I was able to leave my full-time job. I had replaced my full-time income at that point. And it's only been up from here. We're able to travel all over the place with her competition team. She was able to start private school this year and stuff like that. So, and things like that would have never been possible without this program. And I had absolutely no bookkeeping experience prior to joining the academy. So, Vanessa, Robin, one of y'all want to go next and just a little about y'all?
Sure, I'll go. My name is Vanessa. I'm married. I have two little babies. Here's one. The other one's next to me. 2 years and 2 months old. I joined the academy August of 2019. Or no, yes, August. I launched like the first week in September, I believe. And by November, I had 3 clients. And just like Megan said, it's only been up from here. I now have about 16 clients, getting a few more this week. I hit my first $10,000 month in July, I believe. Yes. Yay. So yeah, it's been amazing. Only been in business for 2 years, a little less than 2 years, and already, this far. Our goal is for my husband to come home within the next year. So that's what we're working on now. And that goal is very clearly in sight now. So it's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Super excited. Let's see. Carolyn asked, did you both purchase a full course? Yes,
Yeah.
we both were in the did the full program, the support group and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Robin, you want to go next? Oh, she might have issues with audio. Casey, is that you under stay at home? Robin, we still can't hear you. All right, let's see. Diane wants to know, what is your favorite thing about joining the group? I think for me, it's definitely been the support, having other people to bounce ideas off of and stuff as we're going through the program.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The support, even before I became a mentor, the support has always been awesome.
Yes, most definitely. Are Vanessa or Megan working within a specific niche, and do you help a variety of clients? Yeah, I do not have a specific niche. I kind of focus on more service-based businesses, but I do have like some retail clients as well. So mine are like pretty much a variety. How about you, Vanessa?
Same here. I focus on service-based businesses as well, and literally all of my clients are different. Okay, thank you.
All right, Abby, you want to tell us a little about you and joining?
Sure. I probably joined last, I believe, of everybody. I think I got Tiffany's book maybe sometime early 2020 when I was working in property management. And I really just, I have two little boys, and with the pandemic, I was being taken away from home a lot more than I even was before then. So I actually quit my job before I started my own business. I kept seeing Tiffany and kind of hang around the water cooler for a while. And I don't think I actually purchased the group until November because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but I really did think I could do it on my own, honestly. And then, I've worked in business for, the past 12 years since I graduated college, but I never, setting up all those back office parts of it, you don't realize how many steps there are until you're going to do it. And that's when I decided to fully invest in the course and the support group. And I mean, that's really what helped me. I think sometime mid-November is when I made my investment. And then I spent November and December, filing for my EIN. I ended up earlier this year, setting up an LLC so I could get ready to take on some subcontractors. But, just getting the group there. And I kind of did what I think a lot of people in the group do was I didn't know where to start. So I took the courses, which were wonderful. And I actually took QuickBooks courses as well prior to Tiffany's. And quite honestly, the Tiffany's were just as good, if not better. And then I finally started showing up to the Zoom calls in December because I knew I needed to kind of see how other people were doing this. And quite honestly, that was the biggest change, was because you can't just read the materials and watch everything. you have to really engage in the group. And I find the best value is the more you engage. And, it's kind of nervous because you show up to your first couple calls and people are talking about different aspects of bookkeeping and how to service their clients, and they're getting answers. And I did bookkeeping in my previous career, but it was a very small part of it. So, and I did it for one specific industry. So when you're trying to service a whole bunch of different industries, it can be really overwhelming. And at first you're just sitting there being like, oh my God, I don't know what these people are even talking about. But I just continued to show up for the calls every week, just being wildly confused, and kept just going through the course materials. I was so confused. I remember like my first call just being like, I hope they don't look at me.
But that's what's so important. You got to show up and you got to participate.
Yes, because you absorb, like I have notebooks upon notebooks of my first, 20 calls of just things that you guys were saying about your clients. I'm like, what is a PPP loan and how do I set that? I didn't even have a client yet. So
yeah,
but that's how I got it. And then so the first time I officially launched on January 1st of this year. And within a week, thanks to the group, I had a client, and it's still like, it's a $500 per month client. And it was a daycare provider. I used to run daycares, but I never, that was like in college when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I messaged the group and I said, does anybody work with them? Somebody quickly, messaged back and said, yes, here's the questions to ask them. And I jumped on the call and I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. And, she's still my client and I love her. And, it kind of went from there. Like, it's just, you have to be engaged in the group though, to truly understand what it is. And it's really scary because it seems, everybody knows so much more, but you're not going to learn from people who know less than you. So you kind of have to remember that mentality. You're there to learn and ask all the questions. And in the beginning, you feel very dumb asking questions, but you actually gain confidence being on the calls, because if you heard somebody else ask that same question, you're like, oh, wait, I know the answer to that because I heard that 3 weeks ago. And then that's where your confidence builds. And I think that's really important. So that's my biggest takeaway. I mean, outside of, again, the back office. So like setting up your business, setting up your emails, setting up your calendar, automated onboarding. Like there's just so many aspects that you get with the group that if you're trying to do it on your own, you just don't get. So that's what I found to be really valuable.
But yes, most definitely. Okay, so let's see. We have a question in the chat. Did you establish a formal business such as a S Corp, C Corp, or sole proprietor? I think most of us are set up as LLCs to start with. And then once you reach that income level, you kind of move to an S Corp. Once you're making enough income. Okay, Robin, you want to share a little about you and then we'll get to the rest of the questions?
Yeah, sorry, I got a new computer, had some difficulties.
Well, congratulations on the new computer.
Yeah, thank you. I guess I need to set it up more.
Yeah.
Not when we're on a Zoom. Anyway, so I went to the phone. But I joined, I think about the same time as Vanessa, I guess, because it would have been the end of 2019. So I'm like just shy of 2 years now. I think that I was in the group after you joined, Megan. I think you joined. I was kind of stalking Tiffany's group. And I'm like, is that a real thing? Is this a scam? All those things. I totally called a friend of mine that was a CPA. And I was like, is this legitimate? Can I really do this and make money? And she was like, yeah, you'd probably be good at it. And I was like, well, I've never done bookkeeping. So anyway, I totally read all the hate things. I'm that person. I'll go read like all the hate stuff. And I'm like, all right. And the biggest thing I noticed was like, people were like, in the free group here in different places, they were like, well, you really need this and that. You're going to be a bad bookkeeper. And I really kind of struggled with that thought. And it was so funny because one day I was like, really like kind of wrestling with that thought in my mind. Like, I don't want to do anything where I'm going to, make people's businesses worse off or all these things. And the truth is, I had this little real talk with myself and I was like, Robin, you would never give bad service. You're only going to be a bad bookkeeper if you decide to be a bad bookkeeper. So I felt like it was worth giving a shot to Tiffany's thing, her whole class that she had and all of that. And also like, was I willing to do the work and be teachable? So just like Abby was saying, was I willing to show up on the calls and ask questions at the risk of sounding ridiculous? But I knew I would, because I would want I want my clients' work to be perfect. I want them to have absolutely audit-proof books, and I want them to have the best kind of strategy that works for their business and their goals and all of that. So once I settled that in myself, I made the investment, and I really had stereotyped bookkeepers. Turns out it's a really fun group of people, and kind of was made to do it. So it was bad. Did you guys ever watch, is it Stranger Than Fiction? I don't know. Like, he's the auditor. Is bad. So anyway, I thought bookkeepers were so boring with no sense of humor. And I was like, nobody's going to like me in this group because I'm always playing jokes on everybody. But turns out everyone likes to laugh. So I love it. I've made tons of friends. So I'm kind of one of those serial entrepreneurs, and I raised my kids for the last 20 years and homeschooled, and everyone's getting bigger. So I always had jobs like that would pay. That was the difference with this. Like, before, I would create a job for myself and kind of pay gas and food, with that. But this business, I wanted to create a business that could run without me. So from the beginning, I've really tried hard to stick to the pricing that was suggested by Tiffany in her course and with all the other mentors. So now, because I did that, I've been able to hire contractors to help me and kind of, grow a business that isn't solely dependent on me all the time. And instead of creating a job. So there's two different ways to go into this. You totally could create, just some work for yourself, or you could create a firm, which I, in my mind, try to think of myself as building a firm. And I'm getting ready to add tax prep, but just bookkeeping alone, just like Vanessa, I just hit my first 5-figure month in June, actually, and then grew another 50% in July, which was crazy. Yeah, crazy. So August has been, making sure that, fixing systems and all that. So, and I came in without any formal bookkeeping experience. I mean, I've run businesses before. So, I was the person at the end of the year with a whole envelope full of receipts and tried to recreate my entire year in a spreadsheet. And now I look back and go, oh my gosh, I did some terrible things wrong. But it also gives me empathy for all my business owners. I know where they're coming from, and I understand, kind of some of those challenges. And also, I grew up in Alaska, where everybody does 8 million different jobs. So I feel like industry wise, I still have clients from all different industries. My niche isn't so much in industry as much as business owners who are growing and just need to get legit, So yeah, So that's me.
Thanks, Robin.
Yes, I want to add that I also read all the hate messages when I first saw the ad. I was like, because my firstborn was 2 months old, and I was like, I need to stay home. And I saw the ad, and I was like, oh boy, this could be it, Yeah, I'm so glad I took the leap.
That's awesome. Casey, did you want to share? I think that's Casey one. I don't know if she can hear me. Okay, Kaylee, you want to tell us a little bit about you? Just a little short intro, and then we'll get to some questions.
Sure. So let's see. I started my bookkeeping business with Tiffany's Academy in the end of 2019, and it was honestly the best decision I ever made. I was able to get my first client within a few weeks of launching my business, and I've been growing ever since. I actually am about to reach my end of year goal a little early, possibly.
Yay!
Congrats.
Clients. And I'm at 17 right now. So I'll have a few more clients left to onboard, and then I will reach my end of year goal. But
congratulations.
Growing at my own pace, which has been nice. It's kind of nice. We can kind of all do our businesses how we want to. And I've kind of chose to go a little bit on the slower side of growing my business because I have a lot of other things on my plate as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And before that, I was actually a pharmacy technician. So I was able to leave my pharmacy position during COVID and do this full time, and the pandemic didn't affect my bookkeeping business at all. I'm sure, as all of you guys know as well. If anything, I think it grew faster. People needed us even more.
Yeah, they definitely saw the need for bookkeepers having to apply for all the PPP loans and stuff for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a almost 4-year-old daughter at home, and I just had a little baby boy. He's like 3.5 weeks old. So that's a little bit about me. I also joined the Elite Mastermind about a year ago now, and that helped my business grow. And I was able to kind of expand and get like some team members working for me, so that I can really focus and like be the stay-at-home mom that I want to be while still managing my bookkeeping business and growing that as well. So anyway, I love it. It's like my
Definitely.
lifestyle is bookkeeping. And
Yeah,
awesome. Out of the medical field and into something that really makes my life how I've always dreamed of it.
that's so awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's see. Sharon says, is it expensive? Sharon and some of the other mentors can probably weigh in on this as well. Of course, the price changes as Tiffany kind of adds things to the program and stuff, but I definitely don't think, like for me personally, that I would ever say it was expensive because of all the income and even time freedom that has brought me joining the program. So the investment was definitely well worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I was able to make back my investment, I think, by my 3rd month in business. So it was definitely worth it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
everything now is just, money on top of that. So it's great.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, cleanup jobs, y'all. If you can get some cleanup jobs, and majority of the clients that come need cleanup work in the beginning. So that helps tremendously to pay off that.
I was going to say too, like, if it was because I'd started other businesses alone, I think I had never been in an industry or had a support group. So for me, because I can always say yes to a client, I mean, unless they're a jerk and I don't want to work with them, right? So like I can say yes to any job because I know that the support group will help me get the work done, right? And there's options for getting help if you really, really can't do it. So I feel like it pays for itself so quickly. It's not like an investment into education where then you're hoping you get work. I mean, it really is just a matter of time before you get work. So I think it's wise to have a little bit, like be able to put the investment in for a few months, but then know that it's not going to take you as long as you think. I mean, in the big scheme of things, it's going to come back. That's how I feel.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. And that's one thing that like I've always kind of felt from the beginning. You can almost say yes to anything that's bookkeeping related, and you're going to have somebody in the support group to be able to rely on and help you. There's somebody who can give you some knowledge. And if not, we're going to go find it. Let's see. Marcy said, good morning. I'm a single mom as well. I've been diagnosed with Crohn's this year and has had me in and out of the hospital. I'm waiting on scholarships or help for me. It is just me and my daughter. Or is there a way that I can learn until I can? I have no income right now. Thank you. I can't wait to hear. I would definitely get on a discovery call with Tiffany Ware and her team. I don't know all the payment options and stuff. I don't know a lot of that detail. And there are smaller programs where you can learn like the bookkeeping and things like that. QuickBooks also has some programs that you can learn through QuickBooks just to kind of get your feet wet and maybe gain a client to be able to pay for the program to get in. You can do stuff like that. We've had other people who've done that. They've waited till they got a client or so to be able to get into the group. Let's see, Carol. Can you discuss the most challenging part of starting your business and how you've overcome challenges? Awesome. I love that question. Who wants to?
Mindset.
Mindset. I agree. Definitely. Tremendous.
I would say your own mind will be your worst enemy more than any number will be thrown at you or any client. So yeah. That's probably it.
Yeah, and a lot of like the challenges that you do run into, mindset is like the on the back burner, like it has something to do with it somewhere, for sure.
Yeah, and Megan even hosts a mindset call for the group. So it's not just all about bookkeeping. It's about like getting you right to learn how to be a business owner that is strong-willed and confident in themselves to be able to take that call and not throw up while you're on the phone with the client or whatever.
And if you do, just keep talking.
Yes, yeah, that's the noise. My kid again, darn it.
That's funny.
Rascal.
Anybody else want to share any of their challenges and how they've overcome them?
Yeah, I can share mine. So for me, the sales part came naturally, but the hard part for me was when my bookkeeping business got to the point where I needed to actually get help, and like have a team to like onboard and do some of the bookkeeping work with me, because passing the baton to somebody else is like not something I've ever had to do before. So I like to run things in my business and have control over it. And I feel like definitely that was the hardest part for me, was like having to pass the baton to somebody and trust somebody else to like do my clients' books. But that's what Elite Mastermind helped me overcome, and really be able to successfully still be a part of my business how I want to. So
yes, for sure. Did anybody else have anything they want to share on that?
Yeah, I think I agree with Abby that mindset is a huge thing. And I think the other thing, it's not just as part of mindset, but I think deciding what kind of life you want to live, like realizing that you run this business and making the changes when you realize your business is running you. Because I think when we first come in, we're just really, really hoping that we can get a client. And then all of a sudden you have clients and you have money coming in. So, then you need to get serious about how you run and manage your business. I feel like that's such a big deal, but it's kind of great because it's also, as you're growing and doing that, you start offering more services and advisory services to your clients, because you'll go over their books and be like, wow, they're being run by their business too. How can I help them? And it's fun because I feel like as you're learning, you get to share those things and just actually increase your profits in the midst of it. It's such a crazy thing. I don't think I've ever been in a field that had that kind of opportunity. So yeah, so that's that. It's been the most challenging part, but also the most rewarding.
Yes, definitely.
And I was notorious for discounting all my clients. I was terrible. I'm really great at sales, really bad at sticking to my price. So that was a huge deal for me. And that was a lot of mindset. Like, it's okay, I'm allowed to charge the right price for the work. They're going to get excellent work. And I'm solving a huge problem. But that was I'm so bad. People, all the support group, you guys were so good to me. So
yeah, look, I was the same way in the beginning. It's like, okay, I'll do your back work for free just so I can get them to sign on or whatever. And now it's like, what was I thinking? Vanessa, did you have something you want to share?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the marketing aspect of it.
Okay.
It wasn't a huge deal for me, but I know a lot of people have problems with marketing on their personal pages and getting themselves out there, worried about what others are going to think about it. And something I saw in the group, I can't remember who posted it, but somebody said, these people that you're afraid about judging you aren't the ones paying your bills, so it doesn't matter what they think. It matters what you think and where you want to go, where you want to be, where you see yourself.
Exactly.
So don't let, kind of like a mindset thing as well. Don't let that stop you.
Yep, definitely. All right, so we have can you go at your own pace in the academy, and how long is the academy? So yes, the academy, you can go at your own pace. And as far as you're in the support group for 12 months, but as far as like the coursework and stuff, I think when I sat down and did everything, it might have took me a week, maybe 2 weeks to complete the course material. So the course material itself doesn't take that long. You're just in the support group. You have that support for 12 months with all of our additional benefits and stuff that come along with that. What was the deciding factor that made you decide that the academy was the best decision for you? I think for me, it was just I was looking for a stay-at-home option, and I saw what Tiffany had done herself personally, because I kind of joined at the very beginning of it. And I wanted that option. I wanted to be able to work from home to have that time freedom. Does anybody else want to share theirs?
Same for me. I had a 2-month-old. I didn't want to go back to work, and I knew I never wanted to work for someone else. I was actually working on my accounting, to my bachelor's in accounting at the time. I knew that I liked data entry. I wanted to do bookkeeping. And then I found the course, owning my own business. That was like a no-brainer for me.
Yep, definitely.
And I see my point from switching was I did try to do it on my own. It was like all the back office stuff like that. Like that's when I was like, okay, I need that extra support. And when I have questions, I want to be able to go to someone, or in this way, a group of people to get questions answered, where I wasn't just like Googling nonstop, where, we could post, we could attend the meetings and you get your questions answered, like sometimes it's within hours, but definitely within 24 hours, you're getting questions answered. So you're not sitting there in your own personal, like, what is going on? What do I need to do? You have a whole team of people there to help you.
Yeah. I agree with Abby and Vanessa. I think too, just knowing that I could get help, that was just, honestly, that was the no-brainer for me. And then I've started multiple businesses. And when I did Tiffany's, like, I think there's a part of the course called, it's probably changed names since the time I did it, but it says something like, set your business up in a day. And literally I set my entire business up in a day. It was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. And I think the only that's longer was getting my business bank account, because, I had to go straight. But that was the only thing that took a long time. But I was amazed, honestly, amazed at that. It was like incredible value.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree that's one huge benefit to this program. Like, it walks you through everything you need to know to set up the business, not just, hey, here's how to do bookkeeping, here's how to get clients. You should, through your LLC, through everything. All right, let's see. The next question is, did you feel confident taking on your first client after completing the courses, and which courses specifically would you suggest for someone with no bookkeeping background? I think most of us on here had no bookkeeping background. So we kind of took all of the courses. Everybody that's on here has taken the entire program. So it's been the support group as well as all of the courses that are in the Teachable account. So mini course, provide amazing service to your clients, everything. And yes, I would confidence takes some time to build, of course, but yes, I mean, knowing that for me, for sure, I know, just knowing you had a support group, people to rely on, that helps tremendously to have confidence to go sign that first client,
Honestly, yeah, along with what Megan said, was that you do get help on your first client, like one-on-one help. That's
Yes,
huge.
yeah.
That's huge in knowing that, because when you take the course, you're like, okay, I'm confident. You get the first client, everything goes out the window.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's one thing. We hold your hand through the entire process. So your first client, you get unlimited one-on-one. So from the time you sign that client up till you feel confident enough to take them on completely by yourself. So there's no reason to not be confident about it, for sure. All right, for anyone to answer, do you have clients local to you? I have several. Most of my clients are local to me. I have some that are out of state and not, but most of mine are local.
I think I have a mix, about 50-50, but yeah, I have several that are close to me, and I have 15 of my own, and I help another mentor with another 4 of hers. And so I do contract work for somebody else in the group. So
awesome.
Yeah, so they're all over the place.
Good deal. what is Tiffany's? I'm assuming you're asking what is Tiffany's program? That's the Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper Academy, if that's what that question was referring to. How big are the businesses you service, biggest to smallest? So for me, I have several startups, but I also have some that their income range is 3 million max, I believe.
Yeah, I'd say my top client is 2 million, and then I have some that are started, earlier this year.
Same.
Yeah, same over here too.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the seems to be the typical range, but I mean, you can service super small to bigger businesses. Congratulations, Laura. She said she's working on getting funding for investment in the academy. Well, we can't wait for you to join us. You will get to see our faces a lot in there.
I was thinking about that question earlier, also about the first client, having confidence for the first client. And it just makes me think how many times, there's posts in the group, or we've posted in the group when we've sent out a bid that makes our knees shake or makes us want to be physically sick, and how much support we have, where a lot of family members or people in your life will not understand what you just did, but to have like 100 other people who are like cheering for you and, are with you when you have to let go of a first client, you know what I mean? A client for the first time, or all those things. I have loved that support. Shockingly, I didn't know I needed that until I was in the group. And I'm like, I don't think I could have done this for 2 years. I probably would have gone and cried in a corner,
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
I'm not made for this. I need this.
Wait, you didn't go cry in the corner sometimes?
Oh,
Is that just
I just didn't stay there. I just didn't stay there.
Yes, exactly. Got back out of the corner.
Working. Yep. And I'm like, no, I own this business.
I'm the boss here.
That's right. By golly, I'm the boss. Yeah, exactly.
No, one, and like going through the course materials, like I'm a very kinesthetic learner. Like I learn by doing. So I reread, watched all the videos over and over. And then it takes like that Zoom call, that one-on-one with your first client, to kind of like really have it sit in. So like, I don't think you really get those jitters out until you're in somebody's books, actually touching them and being like, okay. And then after a while, you're like, I know what I'm doing. Is this it? Like, I got it. So it's having that conversation again. If you're not coming to those Zoom calls and having that interaction, like it sometimes just won't sink in. You have to hear it multiple times to really learn it, I believe. So that's where that comes in, it really comes in handy.
Yes, most definitely. Abby Jane said, you are making me feel so much better. Thank you.
I'll be a hot mess for anybody out there.
All right, let's see. Somebody said, how much is the fund for the investment to begin? Tiffany Ware, somebody corrects me. I don't know all the pricing detail. I'm not on the sales team. But I think it's $8,200 for everything right now, like for the academy, to be able to be in the academy and have all the courses and everything. But I would definitely hop on a discovery call with Tiffany Ware and I'm sure, I haven't checked the group again recently, but I'm sure she's probably in there commenting with the link and stuff if y'all want to schedule a discovery call to get all the details, because they have so many different options. Like you can purchase different pieces of the course and stuff, just depending on what fits your needs the most. All right, when you have a phone call with a potential client, do you tell them at the end of the call that you will prepare them a proposal and then email it to them later, thus giving you a bit of time to chat with the group and determine what to propose to your customer? Yes. I've kind of gotten to the point now where I feel confident enough for most clients, to be able to kind of quote them on the phone and give them a price right then. But I can tell you in the beginning, most definitely that is what I did. It constantly relying on the group. And if there's a business that I have not specifically worked with or that's super large or anything like that, I still rely on the group. So yeah, and I don't know if anybody else has any feedback or anything.
Yeah,
definitely.
usually when I don't quote people over the phone, it's what I normally do now. But when I don't, I say, give me 24 hours to send a proposal.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I still don't quote people on the phone because I try to not sabotage myself by underquoting. So I always tell them, I set another date for either another Zoom call. Usually what I'll do is do a Zoom call. That way I can go over the quote with them and answer any questions or objections that way. And I like that better. And I'm not like a master quoter by any means. I think I do so many things wrong, but I have a really high closing rate. So it's more about people are comfortable with you and less about your massive quoting skills or, whatever. And I always just tell my clients that, or like my prospective clients that I want to develop a price that works for them for exactly what they need for their business. And so they don't mind waiting. I think I had one time, but he had already been talking to someone. So it wasn't even that I had done anything wrong. He was just already in conversation with someone. So I always do that. And I love when people ask in the group about quoting. I think that would be like at least 10 to 15% of all the questions in a day would be people asking for help on quoting different clients in different industries. I love it.
Yes.
I love that I can go in there and ask people.
Yes, most definitely. And we also, one of the features of the Academy now is a quoting tool. So you can kind of plug in your information that you've collected from your client and it'll give you a price based on Tiffany's pricing strategy. So there's that option as well. But of course, there's always an exception, like there might be something a little bit different that's not in there. So definitely you can rely on the group always for that. What kind of laptop, desktop, and programs do you need to get started? I've purchased a new laptop since I started, but all I had was a Chromebook when I started. Just the very basics to get by. So it's nothing extravagant or anything. You pretty much just need to be able to get on the internet for the most part.
And yes, you can do this with the MacBook. We get a lot of those questions. And you can do this with the MacBook. Any access to internet, you can do it. Besides your phone.
Yeah.
Unless you use the browser, you can't use the app on your phone. Well, you can, but it's not as user friendly. And you can't really get everything that you need to get done. But iPad, yeah, as long as you're not using the app, then you should be good.
Robin, Mandy said you're awesome. Chelsea said you're awesome, Robin.
Thanks, guys.
Marcy, I'm not sure what that comment's about. My call person only text. Tiffany Marcy Jenkins, I don't know if you want to.
I think Tiffany already responded to her to reach out to her, schedule a call.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere later in the chat.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up.
Oh, there's a lot of comments. That's what
It is.
trying to help you. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, we got tons. Okay. Have you joined any bookkeeper associations or obtained any certifications? I have not personally at all. I know some other countries you have to have some certifications and stuff, but like in the United States, we do not. I don't know if any of y'all.
I looked into it and I decided it wasn't worth it. So, and not one person I've had a phone call with or any of my clients has ever asked me if I have any type of certification.
Nope, exactly. I agree. I've never been asked that either.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
What is the first 5 major steps to getting started, and what are the necessary materials to get started? I mean, I think that's kind of hard, I guess. The first thing would be to sign up for the program, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then everything's in the program. I mean, there's lists, you have checklists, you have step-by-step on instructions from there.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no really material things you need besides like the course. I think mainly is you just have to like show up with like ready to start a business and just go for it
Yeah.
and follow the course and let that help you figure it out. Because
Definitely.
I had no experience. I'd never started a business, you know. It walks you through how to even just create a business in general. So it's not
Mhm.
all just bookkeeping coursework in there. There's like business startup help in there too. So
Yep, I agree 100%.
I want to go over real quick what's included as far as like help. So
Definitely.
we have mindset calls with Megan, of course. Megan's actually adding a marketing course as well, or marketing Zoom call. And then we have office hours 3 days a week. So that's everyone in the group gets on a Zoom call, kind of like we're on right now, and we all ask, we answer any questions that anyone has. Within those office hours, the students can sign up for a breakout room, and those are for client specific questions that are asked that you can't share. You need to share your screen, but you can't share it with the whole group because of confidentiality. So we have that 3 days a week. And then we also have sales training with Eileen. And then Becca, the person who sets up your website, she also has a call every week for setting up your business for success. And you can ask her any questions regarding your website or, getting things together. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yep, definitely. And we've started EFT calls, which is like a tapping, if you're not familiar with that. We have some new Zoom calls coming. Plenty coming. I feel like there's something else I wanted to mention. Did you say financial statement reviews?
No, she didn't. Yeah, that's
Oh, I didn't, but yes, we do.
Okay.
those too.
Yeah, financial statement reviews. So every client that you sign for the time that you're in the program, you can get a financial statement review of that client's books. Anybody else have anything to add that we might have forgot?
I know there's a QuickBooks online learning Zoom coming soon as well.
and there's a CFO Zoom with Ann coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, so there's always new trainings being added and stuff that's being added to the program. For sure. Kaylee, somebody had a question for you. How long were you in the academy when you decided to enroll in Mastermind, and how did the Mastermind group help you?
yeah, I was in the academy for about 8 months before I decided I needed to take the leap and join the Elite Mastermind.
And how do you feel it helped you?
Oh, and then it helped me mainly with task management, growing my business, like the marketing side, and then building my team. But I know Tiffany Higgins really personalizes the Elite Mastermind to what like you need specifically. So actually whatever you need to focus on, that's what we focus on in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I joined Mastermind as well about a year after I had launched my business and stuff too. And I agree with Kaylee. Tiffany customizes the program to kind of fit your needs. What area of business are you wanting to kind of focus on? She's recently started adding some CFO training. We have like some new marketing coaches in there. We've done LinkedIn marketing. Like there's all sorts of marketing, teaches you how to be a CFO. And like Kaylee said, better like manage your time and stuff. That helps me tremendously. I know, because a lot of times you're trying to focus on too many things at one time, or you're just all over the place and nothing's getting done. How to hire people underneath you and train those. And then she's revamping that program completely and adding all sorts of new things too. Okay, how do you write off the investment if you pay for it before you open the LLC? you can still write it off. You'll put it on your books. You can ask like your tax person if you want to know like a little bit more detail on that, but it can still be wrote off if you purchase it before opening an LLC. Is it feasible to get started and even handle a couple of clients while you're working your full-time job? Yes, most definitely. So, and if anybody else was doing the same, feel free to jump in too. But I was working full time. I was a single mom and I had a 4-hour commute every day when I was working. So I would get up early in the morning, stay up late, and my weekends were spent marketing in the beginning and then doing client work. I think I had 9 clients when I left my full-time job. And it had gotten to the point where I was like, okay, I have to make a decision one way or another, either keep doing the bookkeeping or stay at my full-time job. And I had to make a decision, at that point. All right, Tiffany, where and y'all may have already commented all this on where they sign up for the actual courses.
Yeah, I saw them drop the link.
Okay, thank you. Would the academy still be good for me if I have some background in bookkeeping? Most definitely. And Abby, you might want to weigh in because you said you did have some bookkeeping experience, but I think no matter like you're gonna run into issues being a business owner or with a certain client's books and stuff like that. So you always have that support group and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean, like, I'm not sure what type of bookkeeper obviously you are, but maybe it's for one industry, maybe you have for several, but there's always gonna be some nuance that you haven't seen before, that when you're pulling from now in the group, there's hundreds of minds versus just your own and your own experience. There's gonna be something you haven't seen. So it's definitely worthwhile to use a support group.
Yes, most definitely.
I really like that we have, even though Tiffany isn't in there all the time, we can get CPA feedback. And I love that because I feel secure in those answers. So I think that's one of the advantages is that we also have Meryl now from the tax side. So I feel like I'm so confident to get answers from my clients when I know it's like maybe above what my knowledge level is, because I'll Google to have some kind of background information and then I'll hear back from Tiffany, through Megan or just, through Tiffany. And I think the other great part is the fact that you begin to recognize that CPAs do things and it's not so black and white. Things are done so differently. So I really appreciate the feedback we get, and that way we can be consistent in our work as well. Because sometimes when I work with client CPAs or even other people, and I quite honestly, after being in business almost 2 years, I've had the hardest time nailing down CPAs who will actually give me information. So as far as whether you are in bookkeeping already or not, and we have a lot of people in the group who've had prior bookkeeping experience, I feel like everybody benefits from the support system that we have in there.
Most definitely. And we do have somebody in the support group right now currently who had reached out to a CPA to form a partnership. And she told them about the support group that she's in, and he formed a partnership with her just because of that support group. And he sends her clients that he might have a question on, or he's not sure how to handle the situation, and he doesn't have a support group to rely on. So he sends the work to her because he doesn't know what to do with it, So yes, most definitely, I agree. And as far as not being black and white, Meryl will tell you all day long that the IRS, nothing's black and white. Everything's got gray areas, so it is difficult from that standpoint. Let's see. Kimberly said, I've been a nurse for 24 years and do not have any experience. How difficult will the transitioning to a new career be? We have several people who are nurses that are within the academy. So it's definitely possible. And Kaylee was a pharmacy tech, kind of from the medical field, you just have to be willing to do it, be willing to learn, kind of like Robin said in the beginning, just kind of be open to the experience and everything. Let's see. And then can you invest in bookkeeping if you're retired and looking to work from home? Most definitely. We have several people in the group like that as well. So definitely. It's definitely for anybody. If you're willing to put in the work and willing to learn that, and that's amazing part of the support group. You know, everybody's kind of willing to help you.
And I think too, like if there's some people who are retired and are more worried about the tech aspect of it, I've seen so many people who didn't feel confident on computers and with programs have really successful bookkeeping businesses. So it's not, I wouldn't let that stop you, because there's just so many people in the group that can help walk you through different things. I'm pretty tech savvy, and obviously I couldn't even get my audio working on my Zoom. So
It
hasn't
happens.
stopped my ability to like show up. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
and
definitely.
tech moves so fast. It doesn't matter what you think you're capable or not. You always need to be teachable.
Yes, definitely. Pam said, is there opportunity for contract work to help us gain confidence? Yes, in the academy, a lot of the students in the academy are constantly looking to contract out work. And we usually try to contract out within people that are within the academy first. So because you have that support you can rely on too if you have questions. So yeah, definitely, that's always an option.
I was saying, but show up for those Zoom calls, because if you're just a name on Facebook feeds going through, but you're not actually a member, because that, like the person who hired me said that was the reason they ended up going with me, is because they saw me, they heard me asking questions, they heard my answers to questions getting better, you know, so it's a way of them seeing that you are invested in this, and you do, because obviously they're taking very good care of their clients and they want to choose somebody that they know, and now they know through these calls like who they are and what they're about too. So it builds that trust and that comfort level without ever really having to go and ask people.
Most definitely.
It seems super ridiculous, but I actually have been considering hiring one of the student mentors to do my own books.
Hey, there's
Never
other
get
people
to
in the
them.
group that's done that, so
I know
it's not
so
ridiculous.
bad, but it's funny because it's the thing. Like I know everybody because I'm helping in the groups. I see what people are doing. I see what people understand. I know who I trust in my books. So it's super funny. Like I totally agree with Abby. Be on the calls, because, and also like all the student mentors, you know, we recommend people in the group, as you know, because we'll get questions like, hey, I need some help, who would you recommend, who's in the group, you know, that needs some work still, but you know, is paying attention and is showing up, and we'll get answers to those questions. So we also, you know, I agree with Abby, like we see, you know, what people are doing and where they're growing and learning, and we can help you get work, you know, if it's a good fit. So definitely show up.
Yep. Let's see. Leslie said, I've only been in the academy for a week and I already know that I made a great investment. I don't know of anywhere that you can open a full, oh, y'all, me and this computer and the mouse trying to scroll the chat is not happening. Okay. Full business and get an education at the same time for the investment this is, especially when you have, oh my gosh.
I'm trying to find it for you.
I know, y'all, me and this mouse, I've got to get me a regular mouse because this is not working. The consideration that you are at home to do this and the amount of time involved is nothing compared to the 9 to 5. I watched several Zooms that Tiffany did on Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. They are very informative, and you could tell she was passionate about what she does and has the academy set up to truly set me up for success. The private academy group is amazing, and there are so many resources to go back to. I definitely recommend the academy. Thank you, Leslie. Demita said, you guys are killing it. You're such an inspiration to me. What is the secret of successful academy students? I think just like it's been mentioned several times on here before is showing up. Showing up for your business, showing up for the Zoom calls, all those things. And you have to constantly work on mindset, marketing, because usually when people are finding that they're not signing clients or something, it's something related to one of those two things. Either there's some type of mindset block or they're not doing enough marketing or something along those lines. Anybody else have anything they want to share on that?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that I see students struggle with in the academy is they get stuck on launching. They think they have to have A through Z in place when honestly they just can do a Facebook page and launch. Like they can make it so simple. And only the fact that I'm a serial entrepreneur did I skip that step. This was the first time I'd ever skipped that step. And I had my first client, I think, within 3 weeks. So like from buying it to first client. And then I think I had 3 clients by the end of the year. And I started, late September. So I wasn't marketing super hard. I'm kind of like Haley. I didn't go super hard after the marketing. I wanted to learn a little bit more. And I was also in a situation where I could financially, but I've seen so many people like catapult to, like where I am now within 9 or 10 months because they were in a situation that they had to. So that I think success, what is success to you? You need to determine that, but then also get out of your own way. Like Abby said, it's not just your mind, but I mean, it kind of is your mind, but I see people like, I don't know what logo. Guys, I still don't have a logo. I have never printed business cards. I just started my website and I've had, 5-figure months. It's ridiculous. So
I love that.
It's so bad. I actually was like, I'm on this road trip now and testing out the very virtual part of my business. And we're doing 2 cross-country trips this year. But it's funny because I'm like, I really should have business cards. I'm going to get clients on this trip. So
there you go.
Now I'm like, I actually need them. But I don't have a logo. So Robin's just going to have font. Font will be my logo.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Hey, that works. You can always revamp it later.
That's what I think. I just want to, that way I can leave my number because I like to meet people in person. But anyway, so anyhow, I think success in this case is just go. Just do it.
Exactly. Most definitely. Don't overthink.
It's not the first hurdle. Like that's what I think people are like, oh, I had one discovery call and it went terrible. So like it isn't for me, or you see excuses like that, you're gonna fail. Like I think you have to go into any kind of business you're planning to do, no matter bookkeeping or whatever, is you have to expect to fail because you're gonna learn every time you fail what you did wrong. But if you stop the first time you fail, then you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry, it's just not what it is. But that's why you have a support group, because your next phone call doesn't know about your first phone call. So learn from what you did there and take it to the next one. So I think that's what people like. They sit in that, oh, that went so well, I sounded so dumb, or went so poorly, I sounded dumb, or whatever it is. But you got to expect that's going to happen. Work those kinks out and then move on to the next call. Or maybe it works out great. You are so confident you got them, but you have no idea what bookkeeping is. That's again what the support group is for. So like you could be on both sides of it. Like I had, I think, a lot of his success because I was trained through my other job to do sales really well, but not one of my clients, and I have 15 on my own, do the same business. So like there's always questions that come up about like this, that, or the other thing. And you just have to be like, okay, yeah, I got that. And you know what? I have a group that's going to help me with it. So just don't let those little road bumps be the stopping point.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you do any kind of mindset work or anything, they talk about how many successful people have failed so many times, like Walt Disney, the guy with KFC, like all these people. It wasn't the first time they did it that they became a success. Let's see. Morris said also a great perk is the customized website. So yeah, they when you purchase Academy, you do get a customized website with the program. And your clients can kind of onboard themselves from the program.
I came on before that perk, just so you all know. That's why I just got my website.
Yeah, that's been a recent feature added. How long did it take y'all to feel confident in taking potential clients, being able to onboard a company? A company to start bringing in income. Y'all, this stupid mouse. Oh my God. How long did it take y'all to feel confident in talking to potential clients and being able to onboard a company to start bringing in income? I started talking to clients within probably a week or so. I signed my first client within 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think you get the confidence later. So it takes
Yeah.
a while to get the confidence. I don't think you get that first. I think you get that comes later.
Exactly. I tell everybody this story like on our orientation calls and stuff. I remember my very first meeting with a potential. I had a couple of phone calls before that, but this potential wanted to meet in person. This was pre-COVID and everything, of course. Meet in person. So we're meeting at a coffee shop. I'm in the coffee shop parking lot about to just throw up everywhere because I'm like, there's no way I can do this. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about or anything like that. And it was just like, okay, well, if I want this to be successful and I don't want to be stuck working a 9 to 5 all the time, I have no choice, but I got to go in here and do this, And I just walked in and she didn't know what anything meant. She didn't know what bookkeeping was. So it went perfectly and she signed up. But I was nervous as hell, I can tell y'all.
Yeah, with talking to potential clients, especially in the beginning, you have to realize that you're not going to be the one doing the talking. You're going to get on these phone calls and you are going to like literally ask them, so what are you looking for? And tell me about your business. And they're going to start telling you about their business and then they're going to tell you what they need. And then you'll just ask them a couple more questions from what I think we get like a questions sheet in the academy or something.
Yeah, there's an
You can
initial
go down the bullet
conversation.
points. Like you literally are just going to ask like a few questions and they're going to do all the talking. And then you just tell them like when they ask you questions that you don't know the answer to, you just like take good notes and you just say, I will get back to you on these questions in an email or I'll set up another phone call with you. And then you always tell them that you'll just prepare their personalized proposal for them and get that sent over. I still never quote over the phone just because I like to really think about it and like tell myself, okay, what am I going to price this one at? And I always try to like price them up a little higher and a little higher because my skills are growing. Like I can, and the confidence in myself to be able to say, this is what I'm worth. This is what my time is worth. But yeah, you don't really do the talking. You let them do the talking. So, and you just have that trust in the group to help you with that first client. Just go out there and get those first discovery calls because that's where your business starts. And then you just learn as you go.
Yes, definitely. All right. What happens when the initial 12 months is over? Are you still a member of the group? So there's a couple of options when your 12 months ends in the program. There's an option to be able to stay in if you feel like you need some more support. There's also options to become a student mentor if you are at that point, or there's the mastermind. So there's so many different options once you reach that 12-month mark.
And I was going to say too, because I didn't know what the current price was for the group for the academy, but I was listening and I think after my first 12 months in business, I would have tripled what my investment had been. Like it's funny how you come from this limited mindset of working for somebody else and then moving into where you run your own business and you don't even recognize. I think in my first year I had a $6,000 or $7,000 cleanup, and that was like one cleanup. There was multiple in that year and that was one of my bigger ones. But I mean, you don't recognize how fast you can earn money in this business. You just really don't if you're coming from an employee mindset. And I think that's the biggest shift when you look at the investment for the academy versus can I pay this back? You're thinking, can I pay this back on a fixed income? But you're not fixed in an income, and your earning potential. My husband, who is very skeptical of his entrepreneurial wife, to have another business and not ever having I always broke even. was good about that, you know, like we never lost anything in any of my prior businesses, but he wasn't sure that all the time invested would be worth it. And then just the other day, he was like, I think you actually found the business, you know, and he's going to join me with the tax prep. And my husband's like
Awesome.
super organized man. Funny enough, I'm not the organized person in this relationship. And so but you know, to have him help me in my admin and help me with, you know, client systems and stuff, I was like, I'd really like to keep the money in the family, sweetheart. Like, you know, like let's do
That's
this. 'Cause he's
perfect.
an artist,
funny
you know,
that
so
you say that.
he has business, but he's also growing his business, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I think when you say the Academy price, like I know before this business that would have been like that I would have lost sleep over that, honestly.
Scary,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah, because it was different when we, you know, when we joined. And but I think that, you know, now like knowing what I know, I'm like, no way, you can totally make that back in like 2-3 months if you're involved, you know what I mean? And especially like I know that there's referrals that happen in the support group too. Like people are always referring business out to other student mentors for all sorts of various reasons, you know, like could be the client, you're not really getting along with this person, but you know, someone with a, you know, more direct personality will love this client, you know, all sorts of things. So you're not alone in it. And I mean, there's no guarantee for clients, obviously, there's no guarantee you'll do that, but I mean, it's possible. It's like
Most-
legitimately possible in this business, which I don't think I'd ever been in a business where I felt that way.
Well, and how many times have we seen other students post in the group? I mean, I personally have not had that experience, but seen plenty of other students post in the group that, hey, I had a $10,000 cleanup job, just sign up because they have so many years worth of back work, you know, that
Yeah.
would pay for itself
Yep.
a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
one
and
of
that
the
happened, I think,
students, yeah,
9
one of the
months.
students just got a $29,000 cleanup job the
Yeah.
other day.
29,000, yeah.
Yeah, he was marketing for so long and so discouraged and reaching out to people. And then he, you know, one day he posted, he said, oh, I have 7 discovery calls scheduled. And then the next day he says, I just signed a $29,000 cleanup job. And
Yeah.
he hasn't been there for long. Been in
Yeah.
the
So, I
yeah,
mean,
it's been-
it's more than paid for itself, you know, with that. That is awesome. Okay, so Joanne wants to each panelist in this new norm of the pandemic, is your bookkeeping business more in demand or how has it impacted your business?
way more in demand. Right
Way more.
after, yeah, right after the pandemic started. So what, March? I got 8 clients in June, just in June alone, because everyone needed help. And I've been continuing to get clients. I mean, some of them were one-time jobs, but yeah, it just, I feel like all of our businesses kind of exploded after the pandemic.
Yeah, everybody needed clear financial statements to be able to apply for all these loans and stuff that were coming about. And then like construction type jobs and stuff, those businesses just boomed during COVID, you know, so they're looking for bookkeepers.
I mean, I didn't start my business till this year, but this world has changed where we're all set up and moved and we're comfortable with the virtual setting and virtual outsourcing.
Definitely.
So I don't think it held me back in any way starting it. If anything, it made people more comfortable when I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to jump on a Zoom call with you. Oh yeah, that's how they're already used to doing business. So, you know, to be able to stay home with my kids or send them to school if I have the option or whatever, but then also to schedule these Zoom calls with clients to set up these calls, like it's just given me so much more flexibility with my schedule because I think we've already moved to being prepared for a pandemic lifestyle, unfortunately.
Yes, most definitely. So I want to share Rhonda's comment. Rhonda is in the academy with us. And she just commented regarding the question if the course is good for someone who has a bookkeeping background. I have found that the group in the program is worth more than the investment. I even have 20 years experience and I'm a CPA. So there y'all go for everybody who was asking. Okay, I'm trying to make sure if we have any more questions. What software do you promote? Most of us use QuickBooks Online. We do have some student mentors who have experience in desktop and in some of the other programs as well. But we try to, I think most of us use online for the most part.
Yeah, I've been able to be successful in my business by only working with people that are willing to either switch to QuickBooks Online or already are in QuickBooks Online. So I haven't even
Yes.
touched desktop. I haven't had to learn any other software. I chose to do that for my business, and it's been great.
Yeah, me too, Kaylee. Same. Several of my current coworkers are friends with me on Facebook. How do you promote yourself on Facebook without alerting any of your coworkers? We have had several fired for moonlighting at my company. Well, I'm not sure what type of business that you have. Is it related to bookkeeping where it could be a conflict of interest or whatnot? Because that would be the only issue that I would think. But I promoted my business while I was still working full time and everything. And it did get asked, questioned, or whatever. And I just told them I needed the extra income at the time, and whatnot. And they were okay with that.
There's also tons of other ways to market your business. I personally haven't used Facebook to market my business. I haven't ever done like posts or anything. So I've done all of my marketing with like, I used LinkedIn, and I also have just been doing like word of mouth has been huge with like family and friends and people local to me, as well as joining like networking groups. So like I get tons of referrals just through my in-person networking. And most of the in-person networking is Zoom because
Yeah.
not really going back to in-person yet, depending on, what kind of marketing you want to do, but you don't have to use Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. There's all sorts of ways to market. Not everybody does Facebook. You are correct. Is 12 months in the academy enough time to build a steady business? Does somebody want to take that?
I'd say 6 months in the academy is more than enough time to build a steady business. Like we were saying earlier, I replaced my income in 6 months plus some. So I had steady clients going 6 months in. So I'd say 12 months. By 12 months, you'll probably be rocking if you really commit yourself. You might even, I think I'm at the point now that I'm trying to convince my husband to stay home and help me at this point. So I replaced my income, I doubled my income, and now I've replaced my husband's income. And I'm probably 18 months in. So
Yep. Awesome. Amanda said, I launched a couple of weeks ago and I'm going through the academy. My first thought was, where has this been my whole life? I think we probably all agree with that comment, Amanda. Are there different Zoom times besides choosing mornings? I'm still working. I lost it, and commute an hour each day. Yes. So we do, if you join the academy, we have Zoom calls in the evening times. We try to make all of that flexible because a lot of us were working still full time when we first started as well. So there's evening times, there's daytime calls, like your one-on-ones and stuff. We open our time up on the evening times, weekends sometimes, stuff like that. So we try to be available for sure.
I'm not sure if you can see, Megan, there's like a Q&A button in there. There's a couple new ones in there. I don't know if you're catching them as you go down the regular chat or if they only go to the Q&A section.
Yeah, I think they're only going to the Q&A. I had answered a couple, I think, but I'll go back.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin, for that.
Well, I'm on the phone, so it looks different. So I just wasn't sure.
Gotcha. Are your clients all over the country, or do you tend to work with local businesses? I think some of us had touched on that earlier. You can work with whoever. I have a lot of local businesses, but I have clients all over the place as well. When you refer to cleanup, are you talking about balancing books? Yes, but cleaning up from like previous years. So if somebody needs to file their taxes and haven't done any bookkeeping or anything for like the previous years. So sometimes you'll get it for like a year or things along those lines, sometimes multiple years. What is the average amount of hours per week you do for your business? Somebody want to answer that?
Probably less than 20. Probably less than 20. A full day for me is, now it looks like maybe 5 hours, and I might have two, maybe 3 on a busy week. Like the first of the month, I might have 3 5-hour days, but beyond that, just for bookkeeping, it's kind of like I do a little bit in the morning, and then I might do a little bit more at nap time, and then I do a little bit more in the evening, or just kind of when I have time to do those. The rest of the first week's a little busier, just the statements all come out and getting everybody reconciled and going over reports. But once they're kind of cleaned up and on monthly, it's nothing. It's definitely a lot less work than it was packing everybody up at 5 a.m., driving 2 sitters, staying at work 8 hours a day, picking everybody up, coming home, doing your daily routine at night, doing it the next day. That totally was exhausting.
Yes, definitely. And you, Casey, just to reiterate what you mentioned earlier, you're making double what you were making at your full-time job, but you're working half the amount of time.
More than double. Yeah, more than double. Absolutely.
And I say I'm the newest one here, and I was just talking to a friend about it last week. I probably put in about 30 hours per week, but I'm also in that major growth phase where I'm building. So 30 hours isn't bookkeeping. 30 hours is marketing my business, making sure my automation stuff is working. I'm still making tweaks to that. So it's the bookkeeping is actually probably less. I was showing my friend this, and I was like, but the rest of it is I'm building my business because I want it to be successful. So you have to put in the time for like the other things outside of bookkeeping. But I'm still in my first year where you guys are beyond, past that now.
Yeah, and once you get your clients caught up to just the monthly bookkeeping, you're only spending like maybe an hour per client per month.
Yeah.
Sometimes less, sometimes more, just depending on how large the business is and how many transactions they have, but you're really spending minimal time. Most of your time in your business is definitely like the marketing side and stuff like that.
Yep, for sure.
One of the things I did was because I'm one of those people, like everything can always be better. So I would like keep changing things. But I didn't have a lot of clients. Then I brought on more and more clients. And so one of the things that I've done now is I kind of have a threshold. So I know when I'm spending too much time on client work, and I still have to do back office stuff, and I still have to do marketing and sales calls. So what I do is I've capped my weekly time. Like I don't want to work more than 25 hours a week. And in that, I include what Abby was talking about with the, behind the scenes stuff, like all my systems and all that. And so that's when I know I need to either give more work to my contractors or get a new contractor, another one that can work some of those hours. So that was a huge learning curve though, because my husband at one point was like, so when are you done working? I'm like, what do you mean? And I just started bawling. So I knew I was like at the wrong stage. I was like, yeah, you're right. So, but that was good, but you can't do that in any other business, right? Like you can't actually do that. So that was one thing. Or if you have a lot of cleanups, like allowing time for that without putting you into this crazy work mode. So yeah, you can, but that's the beauty of it, is you can actually cap those hours for yourself so you have a life.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing. I literally probably only have 5 hours max per day that I would want to spend, doing bookkeeping. And that's even with my kids going back to school. So, it's just, you can make it pretty much anything you want. If you wanted to work 60 hours at it and make $200,000 in a year or 6 months or what, you you can go gung ho, you can go crazy. But if you also want more of a balance, which I think a lot of people are looking for with something like this, then you can absolutely do like Robin said and cap off like, okay, this is what I have, 3 hours a day at night after bedtime, to dedicate to this. What can I maximize my time for in that 3 hours? And then after that, I hardly do any of the actual bookkeeping work in my business. I have contractors as well. So my 20 hours a week is just filtering information to them, marketing, client acquisition, getting new clients, talking to people, so you can really make it whatever you want to be, which is just beautiful.
Most definitely. All right. Somebody had a question about a cheat sheet. I'm assuming you're referring to the initial conversation question that we were talking about. So if you join the academy in one of the programs, there's an initial conversation questionnaire, so you know what to ask your client on your first call with them. And then this will probably be a good question. Well, anybody who has little ones, mine's 13. So how do you manage calls with clients with your kids at home? I get nervous. I'm going to be on a professional call and my baby will be crying in the background. Sure, you can put them down for a nap, but sometimes it's not that easy. So whoever wants to chime in.
I'd like to say something.
Definitely.
So as I said before, I have a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old. Because of the pandemic has helped a lot with these calls with the potential clients. And I tell them, hey, I have a new baby and I have a 2-year-old. They're home with me. If you hear them in the background, it's okay. Like, they're not dying, they're fine, and, sometimes they're like, okay, yeah, no problem. And then I've only had one person that was like kind of against it, like hearing my son in the back. But I was like, you know what? Like, for me personally, all of my clients know my kids because my 2-year-old is very hi and, in your face and stuff, getting to know you and stuff like that. And if my clients aren't okay with seeing my kids, I don't need to work with them. Because that's when I'm here, I'm home with my kids and I'm building this business to be home with them. So if the clients aren't okay with seeing them or hearing them, then we don't need to work together. That's how I see it.
I agree. Same
Absolutely.
thing. I tell my clients, same thing. The pandemic has really helped because everybody's in situations, where they might not have childcare or the kids are home now. So everybody's been super understanding. I homeschooled all last year. I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my 2-year-old is feral. Like, it doesn't matter how. So he's like, I just walk outside, I'll do a phone call instead of a Zoom. I will go outside on the phone and we'll walk around in the yard and I'll say, hey, I'm sorry, I have my kids with me. If that's going to bother you, I can schedule for another time and I can make arrangements, but he should be fine. There's, you just work around it. You just make it happen. And most people are understanding and they don't care as long as they're getting results. So as long as you're still getting stuff done, they don't care if you do it upside down, sideways. They don't care how you do it.
Yes, most definitely.
Again, I need to jump off. I actually have a potential call. Sorry, I thought we'd be like an hour, so I scheduled them out a half hour, but I gotta go.
we have a ton of questions. But
Yes,
thank you so
that's
much,
all right.
Robin.
Okay.
Bye. If anybody else needs to hop off, just let me know. Okay, Kaylee, can you give some examples of the networking groups you mentioned you used for marketing your business?
Yeah, so I mainly use BNI, which is a Business Networking International. And I just have like a local in-person networking group that we meet once a week. They offer to do it just via Zoom, or some people are meeting in person. So that's how I've been doing most of my marketing. I was doing quite a bit of LinkedIn marketing. So I had like a LinkedIn campaign that I was running. with messages to local businesses and other businesses in my state. I've chosen to not go outside of my state so that I can help with like tax questions as well for my clients, because I wanted to kind of expand on the tax side and just focus on Utah. But that's really mainly all of the marketing I've been doing. Right now, the only marketing I'm doing is BNI. So I get tons of clients through that referral networking, and those every time I get a referral from that group, it's like I can pretty much bet on them signing on because they already got that warm introduction with the other person that referred them to me. And there's already kind of like that trust that has been built even before they speak with me, which is awesome. That's why I like those in-person networking groups. But I know there's people that do multiple different types of in-person networking, and I've heard a lot of great things about many other types of those kinds of local groups, but I think they are mostly like local groups that you meet with.
Yeah,
called.
Yeah, definitely. I've done some in-person networking and stuff and with some groups and stuff as well. Not on the BNI level, but it's just some business owners that have gotten together and decided to form these groups just to bounce ideas off of one another and stuff like that. And yeah, I agree. And somebody actually asked if we preferred to meet virtually or in person when you're signing a client. And I kind of agree with what Kaylee said. I think every person that I've met in person and had like my discovery call with like that, or hey, let's talk about it. I might have one person out of all those people that did not sign on for services. They're more than likely when you meet them in person to sign on for services. I feel like, or that's been my experience as well. And now, I mean, I've had clients that have signed on just from a phone call or a Zoom and things like that as well. Okay, how many clients do you keep year after year? Does anybody want to take that? Most of my clients have stayed with me. I mean, I've lost a few here and there because of the pandemic and whatnot, but
Yeah, unless you're bad at what you do, you're gonna keep them on. And you can't be bad because you have us in the group, but
yep.
Yeah, unless you decide to fire a client. I've fired a few clients. Then you keep them on year after year. I mean, as long as their business is going, they need you. And if they're happy, they're gonna stay. I fired one client. I got 3 clients in my first 2 months or so, and I fired one, but the other 2 I still have them, and I'm on year 2. So, I keep adding services. I'll be doing also tax prep soon, and offering that for next year, and adding more services, consulting. My husband does consulting side of it, and things like that. So the more value that you add, the more likely they are also to stay. And you'll build a lot of knowledge, and you'll eventually add more services. Yeah. So they can be with you as long as you're alive.
Yeah.
As long as their business is going, then you're good.
Most definitely. All right. I think I got through all the questions in the chat. Hopefully I didn't miss any. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to add or share before we hop off?
I don't think so.
Facebook group real quick.
I would just say if you're on the fence, I'm another one that was like, I'm entrepreneurially, how do you say that? See, I can't even say the word entrepreneurially, and I have a good business. So if you're thinking about it, and you really are feeling called toward it, and you need to just do it. Just jump in and what's the worst that's going to happen? You spend a little money, you know, or you're still going to learn so much about yourself. You're still going to learn so much about building a business. So, you know, even if this isn't something that you love, you're going to know how to build a business. You're going to learn so much about marketing. You're going to learn so much, just period. Just that in itself is worth the academy. And the mindset calls, the things that we go over, the mindset shifts, all of that has been tremendously helpful, tremendously helpful. I will say I have 10 times more confidence in myself and my pricing, in my business, in being assertive. Just those types of things that you learn that you don't know that you're going to learn until you start a business, and you're in learning how to push yourself, learning how to go for something when you're scared, doing all of those things, sitting in the parking lot and almost throwing up at the same experience, because here I am going to meet this client that's a huge client, you know, $2 million plus a year. And the thought of making $2 million a year to me was unfathomable at the time. I just was like, I don't even know how to manage the books on that, because I couldn't even imagine making that much money, you know. And at this point, I can't even, 2 million, like 2 million. I'm like, oh yeah,
That's
$2 million
nothing.
business, no problem. Your base price is blah blah blah. You know, like it's just it's incredible the growth that you will have just personally. So if you don't end up loving bookkeeping, just having that experience behind you has been fantastic, been awesome. It's really life changing. I owe Tiffany, I'm thankful every single morning. Every morning that I make coffee, I have morning snuggles with my 2-year-old, and I just think to myself, man, 2 years ago, I was hating life on the way to work, fixing to deal with a bunch of people I didn't really even want to talk to. I don't really like mornings, you know, and just going to be stuck there for no money an hour with a degree, you know, and it's just, I'm so thankful every single morning that if I feel like starting at 6:30, I can. If I feel like starting at 10:30, I can, you know, and it's
Yep.
just awesome.
Yep, definitely. I agree 100% for sure. All right. Anybody else want to share anything? All right. Well, we will hop off. If y'all have any more questions or anything, y'all can comment on the live and we'll try to get to them as soon as we can. Y'all have a great day. Thank y'all guys.
Hey, see you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.